Now, welcome all students of Standard 10. Now, this is your second poem, Fire and Ice, has been composed by Robert Frost. About the Robert Frost, we already know in your previous poem, Dust of Snow. Robert Frost was an American, very realistic and nature loving poet. In this poem, first of all, we know the real meaning of fire and ice. We already know the meaning of fire and ice. But according to this poem, according to the poet, fire means a burning desires for material things, and ice means coldness, ice means hatred, and both of these weapons are equally dangerous and will lead the world towards destructions. Now, in this poem, the poet talks about two different beliefs regarding the end of the world. Now, let's start the poem. First of all, here, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that of destruction's eyes is also great and would suffice. Now, this is very short but a very meaningful poem. Now, in the first line, some say, in second line also some say. So, whenever we use the same words in consecutive lines, first line and second lines, then we call anaphora. Anaphora is a literary device. Whenever we use that same words in consecutive lines, then we call anaphora. And according to the poet, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So he says, the poet Robert Frost says that he is in the favor of those who say this world will end in fire, as he has seen the effect and result of uncontrolled and unending desire of humans. He finds the human desires same as fire in its nature, and I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that of destruction's eyes is also great. On the other hand, the second belief tells that ice is sufficient for destroying this world. And the poet compares the nature of ice with hatred of humans. So ice represent hate and fire represents strong desires. Both are dangerous. And uh, the speaker brings us into the middle of an argument between people who think the world will come to a fiery end and people who think the world will freeze. The author Robert Frost is talking about the literal end of the world, but he is also talking about the power that human beings have to harm or destroy one another. Now, uh, we know, first of all, in introduction of the poem. Now, this is a beautifully written by Robert Frost. Initially, it was published in Harper's Magazines. It revolves around the concept of Armageddon. Armageddon. Armageddon means a final destructive battle or conflict. Yeah, you also call the site or time of final and conclusive battle between the forces of good and evil. Now, in this poem, the poet tries to turn our thoughts towards many serious questions. Poet ponders upon the point that what the final fate of this world is, whether it will end up by the extreme heat or extreme cold. In fact, whole poem centers on the concept of desire and hate. Desires desires has been given embodiments, something or someone. That is a perfect example of a quality or idea. And in the fact, whole poem centers on the concept of desire and hate. Desires has been given embodiment of fire, and hate has been compared with ice. Now, this is the theme of this poem. The poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost is a metaphor of human feelings of desires and hatred. Fire represents burning desires, while ice, on the other hand, depicts ice cold hatred. It tells us about how we humans will be the end of our own race. Now, let's start the summary of this poem. Now, this article is about the fire and ice. Its poet is Robert Frost. He presents two opposite views about the end of humanity and the world. He discusses these two possibilities, which will be the reason for the end of the world. One such possibility is the world ending in flames of fire. It is so because when he ponders over the burning flames of desires of people, this will definitely hurl the world into another nuclear war, and hence it will burn the entire world in flames. Now, the second possibility of the end of the world is due to the ice. The poet has a strong feeling that people have so much hatred in their hearts against each other that it will be sufficient to freeze the entire planets towards death. So, the fire due to evil, desires, and eyes of wicked hearted are the two opposite opinions enough to destroy the world. Now, dear students, now let us start that's a message of this poem. Fire and Ice is a highly symbolic poem by Robert Frost. This poem is a meditation about how the world will end. The poet says that the fire of lusts and endless desires and ice of hate among human beings will put this world to an end one day. Now, I hope that all students understand the real meaning of the fire and the ice and what the poet wants to say in this poem. Now, thanks.